Good morning. Hi guys. I'm on the tail end of this cold, so my voice is a little sick sounding, I guess, still. It's weird that I feel like I sound nasally, but I'm like not congested. I mean, a little bit, but not much. Just a horse, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, you bought an extremely good book called Doug. That's an interesting name for a book. Welcome in everybody. Welcome in Brendan, Jana, Golfer, Oob, all the important people here. Brendan, you trolled me earlier. I finally set up my Steam notifications, or my Twitch notifications, because I've had them turned off for a long time. And then recently I realized, I should just unfollow all the people, or turn off notifications if I don't care if these people go live or whatever. So I turned on notifications, and I've just been turning off notifications people I don't care to watch recently. And you went live today, and your notification for live is Brendan sent you a message, I think. Brendan's game sent you a message. And I was like, oh, I got a message from Brendan on Twitch. So I clicked it, and it brought me to your stream, and I was like, he got me. So yeah, you fooled me. You got that from another streamer. Nice. Yeah, it's good. It's clever. I would have stuck around and watched, but I was busy doing something to trying to get set up for my stream. So sorry about that. But you got me to click at least, but I didn't stick around. That was my fault though. Anyway, yeah, welcome in. Jana doesn't count. I can't say hi to Jana. Pumped to catch a stream. Work has been kicking my behind the past few weeks. Got it. Cool. So wait, a guy named Douglas Scott wrote a book called Doug. Checks out. Sorry, just double checking we're live on YouTube, which we are obviously. All right, so what are we doing today? I don't know exactly. I'm working on a little thing. It's I don't know if I want to spoil it on stream. It's a little cameo, I guess, for one of our players that I feel like is much deserved and very late. And then I have another one I really need to get out for someone on Patreon that I should have got done like 4 years ago. I feel like incredibly guilty about the more I think about it. But yeah, this one I was working on yesterday. I'm trying to set up. Sorry. Just random catch in my throat and I had to cough. I'm trying to set up a new thing here for an old existing spawner, which was probably a bad idea. I probably should have done this a different way. Description of that book is so weird. So what we're checking right now, I don't remember where we left off, but if I go in this cave, there should be a rat in here. I think it's not. I think it's broken though. I mean, they're all rats in this cave, but okay, he didn't spawn. That's actually a good thing. He shouldn't have spawned 80% of the time.
Tuna sandwich money.
Tuna sandwich money. I'll take it. Thank you. That's super nice of you. The book is the word Doug 50,000 times. That's the whole book. That sounds like an excellent book. What an interesting read, for sure. Alright, I left and came back. Some of the rats are dead now, but I think that's because my skeletons killed them. I need to put a breakpoint on this, obviously, because I don't think it's working how I was expecting it to. think I want this one. Imagine selling one copy of that book. Some editions have the word fingers once on page 119. That's so creepy. Why that word? Has 49 reviews on Goodreads. We're the wrong business, Jana. Let's put our breakpoint here instead so we don't have to keep going through that stupid authority. Where are we at? LOD1. Okay, so we should be turning on here, and then we check this, which is false. 0.2, random seed, cool. So yeah, if this is false, then we shouldn't be loading, which seems to be working correctly. Let's oh, we're hitting again for some reason. I wonder if this just happens like every few seconds. It does. Let's pause. Oh, I can't pause while I do that. That was stupid. Let's resume. Let's unbreak this. Let's do set time to dawn, and then let's go back. All right, let's put a breakpoint here instead. We'll just wait till like 7:04 every day. I want to see if it triggers when it actually does go off. I'm actually not positive that we're getting new seeds. Yep, we are. We triggered true that time. All right, cool. Let's turn off this breakpoint. Turn it off. Zoom. Now I think what might happen is, actually no, I think this is gonna work. Should be. Yep, he's in here. Okay. Now the problem is that's working, but now he's broken. You guys are gonna be so confused about what's going on and why this thing's here. Yeah. I think there's too many rats in here. It feels like maybe there's just, I don't know. It's a whole bunch. Maybe we just leave it alone though. It's fine. Okay, so I think what's happening is this rat is, I made a child of this rat. Is it a splinter? Not quite. I'm not gonna answer any questions about why this rat is wearing glasses though. Okay, so we're gonna go find this rat. Browse to asset. And I'm going to try to rebuild him really quick and see if it works. Let's just create a child class from rat here. We're gonna call this let's call it test, I guess. Okay, and then on this one, we're going to go find our rat ID. Name. ID. He needs something to stand out. Let's just change his... Actually, I guess he'll be fine. We don't need anything special. I think that's all he needs on here. See, this guy's got like a lot of other things in here and I don't know why. Okay, let's save that. And then we just need to replace him. Okay, let's see if he spawns and actually attacks us this time. Oh, let's set our spawn chance for this one to be 1 instead, so he spawns every time. Yeah, I like created a child of him, then I changed his I tried to do some stupid things to get him to work on a different spawner, and that was a bad idea. Oh, he's not here. Oh yeah, he is. Oh, it looks like he's here and he's moving around, so that's a good sign. Yeah, and he's attacking. We did it. We fixed him. He should have a lot more health than the other rats, but still got wrecked by our level 10 skeletons, especially since we have so many of them. You guys following me? Yep. Some of you are. Oh, he poofed next to me. Okay, cool. Cool. They have a spell book in their hands too. Magic Splinter. It does look like a spell book. I should probably change the thing, but it's fine. Okay, now let's go to our well-read rat over here and grab these two things. We're gonna duplicate them. Paste. Should not be child or parented. And left, 0 out the location and rotation. Hello? Sometimes I have to click it. And then over here, we socket this to head. Nope, base. Oh. These are bigger. I think this rat's smaller. Guess we can scale them up a little bit. Or maybe, oh, these probably just are scaled up. That's why. Uh-oh. There we go. And now if we wanted to scale him up a little because he's kind of small, that's fine. Okay. He's hanging out with the big rats in there. All right, that's working. Cool. And oh, did we double check that he dropped when he needed to drop? Let's just double check that again. Ratatouille. Okay, I'm leaving now. Quinn is needy. Oh, I thought you said ready. He did. Okay, good. All right, he dropped the thing you need to drop. That's cool. I'm not gonna spoil what that's for. Hopefully that's all set up and working correctly. I think that's it. Oh, run an ad. Oh, right. Thank you, golfer. Thank you. We'll go 20%. So he has a 20% chance to spawn every day. That might be a little low. Maybe we do like 35. Let's do 0.35. Just because, like, I know a lot of people don't go in this rat cave very often. Like, if it was a place you went to often, honestly, maybe we just... What if we... I have an idea. Let's do this. Let's not put him in this cave. Let's just put him out here in this bush. And then let's turn our chance back down to 0.2. So every 5 days or so he'll spawn. He'll just pop out of this bush. There's no other there's a spawner over here. So So this one always spawns rats, and people have gotten used to that one, but no one's expecting this one to spawn one. So when he randomly spawns, that'll be a fun surprise. And that way, like, people travel past here like a lot more often than they do go in that cave. That's fine. How's the MMO planning? Not terrible. I did a bunch of research and looked into like art style stuff for like how to kind of build out the characters with armor and stuff. And I think I'm gonna just straight up like copy like how WoW does it, just because I think it like works well. But I am starting to like remember how much work it's gonna be. I mean, like, I know it's gonna be a lot of work. But yeah. I'm also really leaning into using Redwood as a framework, which is made by Incanta Games. He was a good friend of mine, so it'll be really easy to reach out to him and ask him for help setting it up or fixing things. So things are looking good. I've also kind of recruited Golfer here in chat to like help out with it, and Moz. So we're still kind of like just talking. We have like nothing designed as far as like features go, or like theme, or like how the game's gonna play or anything. But in my mind, it's pretty much like we're just gonna like, as closely as we can like copy without, you know, straight up getting sued. We kind of just, I want to just kind of like replicate like World of Warcraft pretty closely anyway. Like, I think I want to do tab targeting. I think I want to keep it like super like slow paced leveling and like, I don't know. But I also kind of want to mix like a lot of like horizontal progression and like skilling from like RuneScape to an extent. Anyway, I don't know. There's a lot I've been talking about and thinking about. I have a whole like design doc that I've like filled out for stuff, and then I've just kind of decided maybe we just scrap that because I don't want to. With Swords of Magic, I like kind of designed the whole thing, and then we brought people in when the proof of concept was there, and then people were like, okay, I want to help you make this, and I was like, cool, now we can bring people in because they trust in what I've built, you know. This time around, I don't really want to go that way. This time around, I kind of want to like just start with a team if possible and like brainstorm together. I feel like Swords of Magic really came together when everyone started throwing their own ideas into the hat. When it was just my stuff, when it was just my ideas, it was very much like, okay, this is a little like, you know, out in left field, maybe not the best way to handle it. And even now, like a lot of that like kind of shines through in Swords of Magic, where it was like some weird wacky ideas that I had that I thought were going to be like revolutionary, and they ended up like not working very well because of reasons. Mostly because I was like trying to reinvent the wheel in places, especially with like early inventory and stuff. So yeah, I just don't want to get caught in that same trap again with whatever this next game is going to be, if it's even going to exist at all. So I want to just start fresh with like a blank slate essentially with the team and like brainstorm from there. So hey, Jevons Cherries, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, raiders. Also, hi boss, I don't know if I saw you come in. Did you just come in and I missed you? Anyway. Will Frosty add me? Add M plus, Mythic plus. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about endgame stuff yet. I haven't really been able to do a lot of endgame yet in retail or classic, which is probably a bad thing when I'm trying to design an MMO, but luckily it's just in the design phase still right now and not in the development phase, so we'll see. I will definitely be playing more WoW and doing more endgame stuff before I get that far in the MMO anyway, so it doesn't matter. I mean, endgame classic and retail is kind of the same. I think classic is more about, yeah, I guess it's similar. Retail is, I know the difference between retail and classic is pretty much like complexity levels, right? I think the reason I like classic so much is because the slower leveling, the focus on leveling, the focus on like group play and collaboration. And I think that when it comes to endgame, there's a lot less abilities, a lot less crazy boss mechanics, and a lot more about just. I think it's a little less about. Maybe it is more about gear. I don't know. I haven't got there yet. We'll find out. But yeah. Raids and dungeons. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I in general, yes, they're both the same thing. Yes. There's a difference, but it's like. It's apples and oranges, like if you're, or what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, this is working. He fights you. He drops things he's supposed to drop. He has a chance to spawn, like it. What else do we do? I think I need to open Tyrwin. I don't want to do that on stream, so I just need to remember to set this up afterward. But the NPC that I'm dropping in for this. I don't want to spoil who it is yet because I don't want them to know about it until I tell them the person who this is. But they are a content creator, and this has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to put this in for a long time, and it's finally going in. I'm really excited about it. But yeah, I'm gonna put they're gonna be in Sleepy Haven probably, and I think I might have them there like all the time right now. And then I'll change it when the calendar system goes in to only have them show up like once a month or something, or once a season, I guess, which is probably going to be like 7 in-game days. No, I don't know. That seems like a really short amount of time. We'll see. I don't know how we're going to do this yet. I've been thinking a lot about the calendar system. In fact, we should talk about this. Get some more opinion to that. What am I making though? I'm right now I'm working on a game called Swords of Magic and stuff. It's an open world RPG. It is online multiplayer, but it is not an MMO. Which is why I feel like I could probably tackle an MMO next, is because it's pretty much the same thing I've already made, just on a larger scale with more players. So like, I know this is capable. Also, this game is very much focused on a very like compact, dense amount of content. So like pretty much no matter where you go, you're gonna find an NPC with a quest or something. There's no like empty spaces in this game. Whereas like an MMO, there's a ton of just empty space where you're just like either exploring or like fighting monsters or, questing or whatever. And then there's like a quest hub, right? And then maybe a few random quests scattered around. This game also kind of does that, but on a much more like compact scale. And I feel like we have the same amount of content that like a small MMO would have if we just spread it all out, so there was actually more space to like run around for more players. So I just feel like we're pretty close. Content creators, the only 2 people you could be. Anyway, I feel like we're pretty close to already like having a similar like design philosophy for an MMO. It's just there would be a lot more like serious back end work and a lot better like balancing design, more server authority stuff. Because in MMO, obviously, you can't have, local saves and stuff like that. So there's a lot more work that would be done. So I'm not saying we've already done it, but like, I feel like as far as content goes, I've already seen like what that scope looks like and tackled it, sort of. Just watch the trailer on Steam, looks really good. We'll try it out with a girlfriend. Yeah, literally, like the game is designed for like couples. Like that's like what it's built for, essentially. My wife and I struggled for a long time finding games that fit her like housing, crafting, farming niche, that she really wanted, and then my like desire for like adventure and like RPG and like leveling and like fighting monsters and bosses and stuff, right? So I was like, let's just build that game. So that's what I built. That's what this is. So yeah, there's a bunch of features in it. And skill trees are right around the corner. I think they're finished right now. We just are testing and polishing them. I think we might work on a dungeon today. We'll see. But yeah, we just finished up skill trees. So, and now you'll be able to like customize your character even further and put points in here. So yeah, I think everything is done in here. I think this was broken, so testers haven't really been able to test this yet fully. So I need to get a build out because that's fixed now. And I think, so like Warrior has 5 skills, Hunter has 5 skills, Rogue has 4, Mystic has 8 technically, but 4 at a time. Mage has 5 skills and Druid has 6 skills. I think Druid, we might have to turn Seedlings off for Druid. Maybe Earth Armor? If we turn both of these off? I don't know. What do we want? Do we want Druids healing, tanking, or doing DPS more for now? I kind of feel like we should turn 1 or 2 of these off just because I want there to be more to open up when level 4, when you can hit level 50. Right now, like, level cap is 35. The next zone will like bring it to 35, or bring it from 35 to 50. And that's when the rest of the skill trees will unlock. But I feel like there's a little bit of an imbalance here. Like, I'm almost kind of tempted to just turn off, like clamp all the skills down to 4 for now. Like, we could turn off Hunter's Mark. We could turn off Enrage. That one's fine. We could turn off Arcane Meditation. And we could turn off Seedlings. And I think maybe Earth Armor. And Stormbreak. I kind of feel like maybe we just kind of force players to go with Warrior for now for tanking, and they can add Thorns as like a little additional thing. But this makes you super tanky too. And I feel like this should be maybe later. I don't know. Because if we turn off these abilities so you can't, I think we need Stormbreak. I feel like if we don't give players Stormbreak, there's gonna be a problem. Anyway, I might need a cough drop. I don't know. My only concern is we're gonna hit unlock level 40 and drop Bone Reach, and then some abilities are just gonna feel like, oh neat, we got, you know, 2 new abilities, cool, and not like super impactful. Also a little concerned about Druid because we're not gonna have another healing one, so you're gonna be kind of a weaker healer as a Druid, especially since there's no healing spells for Druid yet. That's something we also need to add before we get too crazy into Bone Reach. Is some more spells. I need to like go through and really learn the spell system better, like how it's set up, and start building that out in a more robust way, I guess. All of it. Healing? You think we should drop healing? Or keep healing? I don't know. I don't know what should I say. What you're trying to say. Like classic, do all be useless. In Swords of Magic, you cannot take all of the skills because there's a mastery limit. So how classes work, we'll look at them again. Keep all of it. Like classic Druid can do, oh, I see what you're saying, but it's useless. In this case, I would say definitely not useless. I do think that, but yeah, and you can also do all of them at the same time with a Druid. So there's a mastery limit, just to kind of loosely explain this. How this works is your mastery limit right now is, mine right now is 23. I've spent 3 skills out of the 23 I'm able to, and your mastery limit depends on your 2 highest abilities. So if I use a sword and a staff, then I will be leveling, let's say it's an Ember Staff. I'll be leveling Mage whenever I do damage with the staff, and Warrior whenever I use my sword. Once the enemy dies, it'll like split your XP based on how much damage you did to them based on what, depending on the weapon used. So if I use 80% of my, if 80% of the damage I do through the game is Mage, or as my staff, then I'll be 80% Mage, right, and 20% like Warrior or whatever. But you can split up however you want. You can level all classes up to level 35 right now. I have level 50s just because I can cheat. That was for like balance purposes, like testing combat stuff. But yeah, you can level up everything you want as much as you want, but then so like my master level limit just dropped a lot. So your 2 highest levels right now could be 35, so 35, and then your second highest would be 35 again. So your mastery limit right now is 18, so you can only have 18 points anywhere in any trees. So I could put I could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points into Druid right now if I wanted. And I'd be pretty much full on Druid, and then I could do like a couple points in Rogue or something if I wanted to go that route, or Mystic or whatever. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Or even I could go Warrior and do like super tanky build over here, and then do my tank side of the Druid, right? And I could be like a super Druid tank who can also heal and do AoE. Anyway, yeah, so like it's useful, and you can mix and match everything and like build your character however you want, which is really cool. So you can be like a spell mage or whatever, or a battle mage, whatever you want to do. Spell mage, a spell blade, or a battle mage. But yeah, you just have to raise your mastery limit to be able to put more points in. Yeah, but you can't master everything, because like as you see, there's like 12 points here, and then I'd have like 6 to put in like here, you know. So I couldn't like max out my hunter's abilities as well as Druid. So I had to like pick and choose, which I like. I think that works really well. But yeah, and because I can pick all 3 of the trees in Druid, essentially, not just like go down one of them, I can essentially like become like a master Druid sort of, and like do everything. Which does make you a little bit more of like a jack of all trades than a master of one, right? Whereas if you went like Mystic is pretty much all healer. Warrior you would think would have like all tank, but it's not. Warrior has like it does have a DPS side as well. So yeah, and then mage is like all damage, and it's frost and fire. I don't know where I got that from. Oh, that's interesting. Like in the New World, the weapon leveling, that is. Yes, yeah, it's based on like Skyrim or like Oblivion. That's where I got the idea from originally, and I just liked that because I thought it felt more like you were, I don't know. Personally, like if I started this game over, I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably just make players like pick a class, like WoW, just because I think I prefer that type of like role dependent gameplay. But I don't know, it works in this. This is way more casual of a game than any other games I took the inspiration from. So this guy did not spawn today. Cool. Okay. Anyway, so what I'm kind of thinking is maybe today we start working on the first dungeon, which I'm leaning toward the spider cave. We have a spider cave level. What's up, Soupy? I don't know what we're working on yet. I think our skill trees are done. There might be some bugs. Let's load in farmlands too. Honestly, I would have loved in WoW to be all classes with a single character to keep my achievements and attunements back in vanilla TBC. That would have been really nice. Yeah, see, and I'm kind of like a hard pass on that, to be honest with you. I personally think that you should, like, I don't know, I guess maybe in like, I feel like in retail WoW, sure, because like once you've leveled once, there's not really a reason to level again. Like it's like they would just streamline it so much that there's just like not much to do. I feel like classic WoW though, I think the experience is leveling again. I don't know. I think 80% of the game is like leveling, right, in classic, and like 20% of the game is leveling in retail, if that, maybe 10%. I don't know. I'm of the opinion, I like players to like really focus in on what they want to do and choose a role. And I think the reason for that is just because I like, I need this one too. I like being dependent on other players and having other players dependent on you, right? So that's why I really like roles in games. Like I love having like a healer and a tank, and like MMOs that don't have that, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I just kind of get lost in them. Or I feel like they lose the plot for me. Like, I don't understand the point of group play. If everyone can heal themselves and everyone can just tank damage, then like, why do you need a group to play? Other than, I guess, just doing extra damage, which is like, I don't know. We have some really low res. Let's just, what is the thing? No. I can't do it out of the game. We might have to restart. I don't remember the command for it. What's up, Danimal? Game's doing well. I think we just finished up skill trees and they need testing and polishing first, and then we can launch them. I think we're launching them next month. What is the command for this? Is it pool? Texture pool, maybe? No. I don't know. Let's look it up. Streaming pool size. That was close. Size in megabytes. Let's do 100. What? None of those are fixing things. I don't think it's actually megabytes. There we go. That fixes it for now. We'll probably have to do a restart later, but it's fine. Okay, so I am very tempted. Okay, so here's one issue. If we do this now, we're gonna have to close the spider cave up for the next update, and I don't think that's a good idea. We're gonna like lock players out of like doing this for this quest. I'm also kind of thinking we might need to put spiders somewhere else in farmlands if we make this into a dungeon. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we do like, I don't know, this room makes perfect sense for it though. The plan was we just kind of like delete this and put our meeting stone like right here, and this is the meeting like room. So this is going to become this is going to be the first dungeon in the game, I think, just because it's already pretty much done, and I need to make a boss, which we might work on today, and we're going to work on 2 new spider enemies. Maybe 3. Maybe a different type of enemy that comes in here too, because I'm also thinking, so like this room sucks, right? This obviously was meant to be a boss fight. Like it's clearly designed to be a boss fight, and instead you walk in here, there's just a whole bunch of spiders, and it's like, it's so dumb. So the plan is going to be boss fight in this room, obviously. And work on a dungeon that's not open. So that's the thing, Soupy, is if I do that, first of all, which one? Like, the lava dungeon is unnecessary for the story and really, honestly, might just get scrapped entirely because it's unnecessary. It's just unneeded. And I'm at the point where I'm sort of like, I don't want to work on anything that's unnecessary because I'm just ready to be done with this game. I love it, but like every single time I add something new to it, like unnecessary features and stuff, it breaks like a dozen more things because things are just held up with like, you know, popsicle sticks and dreams at this point. So the Goblin Cave. So here's the problem with the Goblin Cave. One, yes, it is done. Like we could put it in here. In fact, I've already kind of started, right? Here's the meeting stone in here. The problem is that this is intended to be the end of Azura, and near the end of Azura, you might have like one class up to level 10. That's kind of the intention, maybe two if you're like super grinding. So you're gonna have one or two skill points to spend, right? Also, the storyline. Yeah, so there's two major reasons why I don't want to do the Goblin Dungeon as the first dungeon. So I would have to like when we launch the Goblin Dungeon, it needs to be the end of the Goblin or the quest line here, which is the biggest problem, is that we don't have that done yet. And two, I want to make sure that we have enough, like, I don't know. I think that honestly, I think that the most glaring issue here is that I want more than one type of enemy in it, and all the goblins are the exact same. So I'm tempted to start playing around with how we can like make the goblins different, but the problem is that they're built on an old system, so it's not easy to like add new abilities to them and stuff, right? So what I'm tempted to do is just kind of like mix and match the two systems. So we have like the old goblins that just jump at you or whatever, and then maybe I make a couple of new goblins on the new system, and we'll just set them up on their correct spawners, whatever. Or honestly, maybe we just make all new goblins on the new system that like will behave differently. Maybe we just replace all the goblins. I don't know. I truly don't know. I don't know how to do it. And that's why I'm kind of struggling with it. And also, I don't have a boss. I have a boss modeled, but I don't have like, I'm gonna have to, I don't know. I still play with like animations and stuff and get that set up and working. But this is a great dungeon, and I'm really excited to get this like working. Like we have this guy, right? He's like modeled. He's not rigged. And I need to rig him, and then I also need to figure out like how I'm going to animate him, because I don't want to do it myself. That's going to be a lot of work. I mean, I guess I could do it myself. I don't know. Maybe I just do it myself. I have been getting more into animation lately. I love the Goblin Dungeon too, and I'm really excited to go through it, but I just feel like as a first dungeon, it's not going to be great to represent like skill trees and stuff. And I really want it to coincide with the storyline, just so it feels more cohesive and like there's a reason to go through it. With the Spider Cave, it's not really like that's just a dungeon to be a dungeon, you know? And there's like a quest that you have to go into it with, and like we can build another quest. We can eventually like build a quest line to go through it in the farmlands, but right now it doesn't really like matter. And I guess we could look at this dungeon the same way. Like, we could just have it here and you just go through it for fun, I guess. And then we could add that quest line in later, sure. Either way, it doesn't matter, right? They're both kind of a toss-up. Like, the amount of work I have to do for both of them is about the same, right? Like, this one I have to rebuild all the goblins, essentially, and redo that, which is fine. The other one I have to rebuild some of the spiders. Like, so the plan is I want to make some spiders that don't jump at you. In fact, I'm probably going to take off. We're going to have some jumping spiders still. But they're really janky, right? So I want to make them kind of like a little more rare. And then I want to make a big spider that just kind of like charges at you and is like super tanky, and they just, you know, they just hit hard. They're probably not even going to poison you. And then I want little baby spiders. So I kind of want like 3 tiers of spiders. Like the little baby ones will be like, maybe they'll like, the other ones will spawn them. They'll be like ads or whatever. I think they're just going to be like little cannon fodder spiders that just like die in one shot pretty much. That'll be like really meant for like AoE spells. Like the idea is like, you know, your mages or whatever should be doing AoEs to get rid of the little spiders quickly, and then you can do single target damage on the big guys. That's kind of the plan for that. They're kind of just meant to like swarm you. And then the medium ones will be basically the ones we have now that'll probably jump at you, whatever, and poison you. And then we'll have the big tanky ones. Yeah. What else? And then just the boss, right? I'm also kind of tempted to throw something else in. Like, let's go over there. And again, we don't have to like close this off right now. I think we could even like duplicate the level. Maybe we just duplicate the level and then work on that level, and then we can literally just swap at the level when ready. We'll just do that probably. But yeah, this room up here, I'm tempted to put a new enemy type in here. Like, I feel like this should have something different. I'm thinking maybe like, what about like some mushroom crabs or something? Like maybe like some stone crabs. Like we just use the crab that with like crab model that we like put like a stone texture on. They can just be like super tanky. They don't really need to be super like anything super special, right? There's nothing like that in farmlands either. Like once you leave Azure, there's no more crabs. So like I don't think it'd be a big deal if we had like 4 or 5 of them in this room. I also want to design our dungeons in a way where like you're pulling packs at a time, right? So they're clustered together into groups and designed in a way that like I know exactly what players are going to be fighting and when. So that way it's easier to balance. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, what if we duplicate this guy? I swear to God, Unreal should really like check to see if you're like editing text of something before it auto saves. I hate that so much. Where did he even put that? They're just a random crab thing. Now it's gone. Here it is. Sure. Maybe a stone crab. Hi, Mom. You're on YouTube today. Did you forget your Twitch login? Agreed. Now go back to farmlands. I think the spider dungeon is just the easiest. It's the lowest hanging fruit, right? Like I could literally just put the boss in, just make the boss and put the boss in, and the dungeon could be good enough, right? I don't know. I guess the goblins could be the same thing, right? I don't know. I guess I just want like players to be able to have like skill points before they get to this point, so it feels a little more meaningful, I guess. Just jumped on for something else, and there you were. Oh, nice. That happens, I guess. All right. So what if we just made this guy? We just gave him stone. And we just like threw mushrooms all over his back. I think that'd be awesome. And we just scale him up. Oh, maybe we need to make him dark stone or light stone. Yeah, maybe like that. We could have 2 versions. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of cool. Just like they're just like some big stone things. We could also make a new monster. Let's go open up our library because I did just go on a spending spree. Last month there was a big sale, and one of my like favorite animator asset creators, who makes a bunch of characters, and then they're animated obviously, and they're some of my favorite animations on the marketplace. And he was selling a ton of his assets for like $5 a piece, so I bought like 10 of them. It wasn't. Yeah, actually, I think I did get like 10 of them. One of them I got was this one, And this one, we're gonna open a new tabs, hang on. We've also got this guy and this guy. We have this guy we could play with. There's more than this. This guy. There's still one more. We also have Naga animations. So we can make some Naga, but I think that could work really well on Bone Reach. Might save those for them. This is definitely not all of them. I think some of these are not. Let's just turn on all, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe this is a bad idea. You know what? Here, I have an idea. I know they're all by this guy. Oh. Why did these all pop up in different tabs? So this one, I'm really torn on this. So I love this one. I actually started modeling this little guy already. He's already almost done. He just needs his like head, and then he's like done. He needs his head. He needs rigged, and then he needs to be textured, and he's finished. And we can put him in. So, but this one is really cool because it has the big one. It has these vines. That's a separate skeletal mesh entirely, and they like there's an animation where it like grows out of the ground, and then where it like attacks, and it just animates around and stuff. It's awesome. So we can have vines that grow out of the ground. We can have the big one that you like when you walk by, it wakes up and attacks you. And then this one also has an animation where it looks like it like spits something, and it can spit out these little ones, and then they can chase you around. So yeah, absolutely love that. So there's a lot of potential for this one. So the question is though, is we can build this, we can put this guy into either the spider cave in that room with all the mushrooms, right? Or just throughout the spider cave. This could literally just be like randomly like throughout the spider cave, wherever we want. Or we could put it in the goblin dungeon and break up the goblins with some plants. Maybe the goblins even have like signs around and stuff that say like, watch out for, you know, plants. Keep in mind that we're going to remodel these, right? Like these will be remodeled in Swords Magic style. They won't look like this, right? I mean, they'll look similar to this. They'll have the exact same structure, essentially. I'm not going to change the structure at all, but they will be in our own style. So, yeah. Which is how we do a lot of the characters and creatures in Swords of Magic. We could also just put them in both places. There's no reason we can't have them in both. It just, like, World of Warcraft has, like 80% of their dungeons are just, like, humanoids, right? And we could also have a bunch of dungeons with humans in them, you know, or like humanoid characters. So there's no reason we can't just have like, the plants in different places. In fact, we could just recolor them or whatever. We could even get them different abilities. Like maybe the plants in the goblin dungeon don't shoot at the little guys, or maybe they do shoot at the little guys. Shoot at the little guys. Gotta enunciate here. Maybe they do pop out the little guys, because the goblin dungeon doesn't have as much verticality, so these guys wouldn't struggle at all, or as much anyway. But the spider dungeon would, so maybe it would make more sense if they were more, like, I guess it wouldn't work. I guess it'd be fine either way. Anyway, yeah. There's also this guy. This would probably just be like a little pet or companion. I think he's just super cute. So we'll probably just we'll probably use his animations, and like model around them different creatures that we want to use. They'll just use the same animation tools or animation kit, rigs or whatever, which is fine. Then we have this cool dragon. I love when you can view them in here, but I don't think you can see their animations. I guess not. I think you can put animations in sketch fab like this, but I don't think this one's set up for that. Either way, we would remodel him so he probably wouldn't be as spiky maybe or crazy looking, but yeah, we could do some of this. I don't know where he would go. Probably Bone Reach again. A lot of these were like what we need creatures for dungeons and stuff, and like more enemies for Bone Reach, so like let's just buy some stuff. We have this guy who honestly could become our new goblin. We could just rebuild the goblins and use these animations. Again, I don't think this has animations. Oh, it does. Looks like he just pops out of the ground, which would be kind of cool. Got an idol. He has a bunch of animations though. I don't know if he has enough for like, maybe he could be, maybe we have like 2 types of goblins. I don't know. Maybe he could be like a kobold. He could be a murloc kind of thing. We could do whatever we want with him. It's a pretty basic attack, but you can also cast spells or spit poison at you or whatever we want to do. Another basic attack. He's got a poise break and then a death. Like nothing super complicated there. Then with this guy too, he's also just cute. Anyway, there's more. I know I bought more than that. I think I bought like 10 of them, but I can't find them in the list. Some of them aren't listed as characters. Oh yeah, the spider one. And we already own the Spider Queen. I don't remember if it's this one though. I think it is actually. We already own this one. So this is what we're gonna use for the Spider Queen for our boss in the Spider Cave. Oh, and I bought this Griffin too, which I'm hyped about. I kind of wanted the werewolf, but I looked at the animations and I was like, I'd rather just animate it myself and then not have to model a new humanoid and then just make it out of the humanoid we already have for Swords of Magic, because it's just the animations weren't good enough to like justify it. Oh, and I bought the worm because we're putting a worm in the dungeon too, in a dungeon in Farmlands eventually. Maybe we don't even have a worm dungeon, we just have the worm boss, like a world boss or something. Anyway, there's more though. Pretty sure there's more. I wish I knew about these rat animations before we put our rats in, because these are great, way better than ours, but maybe not way better, but better. Anyway, but yeah, these guys are good for our tanky spiders or our little ones. Haven't decided yet, but I'm probably gonna redo our spiders with these. Oh yeah, and they have these cool sacks that burst open. So I'm thinking maybe we put these, like, make like our own like egg sack thing like this through the dungeon, and maybe they get triggered by spiders nearby, or just when players move near them or something. I don't know. So when you run past them, they burst open, and that's when little spiders pop out. Something like that. For our boss fight, I'm kind of thinking I don't know, we'll see. We'll cross the boss fight bridge when we come to it, I guess. But yeah, this is going to be a bit of work to model and get this fixed up. I'm going to just kind of mix our humanoid model and our spider one we already have, but it's going to take a lot of tweaking to get things blended right. I've already started this and I got frustrated and gave up, and I don't remember why, but yeah, we'll make it work. She does have fingers, so we have to kind of like we don't rig that and stuff like whatever. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like just reusing the crabs in this room though. I don't really see anything else unless we want to put like the goblin creatures in, like the little lizard men. That would be kind of cool in this room. Just a couple little groups of those. Could be neat. But also, this is where this guy's at. I guess we can move him, and maybe we will. Maybe we'll move him to the boss room. Because like these spider webs in here clearly show that there's spiders in this room. We could just take all the spider webs out and just kind of change how this whole thing plays. I also kind of feel like we could do a little bit more with level design in these rooms. I think this is all, oh, these are all separated. That's nice. But there's a lot of like straight, like all these rooms are really boxy, you know, like it's just like, here's the ceiling and here's the floor. And there's no like, this is the cave system, so there's no overlapping and stuff. When a lot of our level design should have been more like this kind of stuff, you know, with like big sloping walls and stuff to like make things feel more like a little like less built out and more natural. But we might tweak some of that stuff as we go through too. Anyway, so you guys think we should start here? Now that I've just talked for 10 minutes about nothing? I think we still have more coding to do for our system, so we could work on that too. Doing level design on stream is great. It would be less level design, actually a lot less level design, and a lot more, I don't know. The only room I'm worried about is this one. I'm concerned because you come in from the top, and I just don't want players just ranging down all of the enemies, or like all the spiders, before they can get to you. So I do think we need some sort of something to prevent that, right? And like a lot of our spiders are not going to be jumping from like the bottom levels all the way up to you now. So that's going to be a problem. How do we solve it? Add some big webs that don't let you jump all the way down. Oh, that's smart. That's actually a really good idea. Like we could use some of these. We should really duplicate this level before we do this kind of stuff. I don't think I can do this here. We'll just call this dungeon. Did I Control Z that stone in the beginning of it? Beginning of the dungeon? Sorry, don't look if you get motion sickness. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Okay, so let's bring this out. Yep. And we'll put this dungeon in. What? I did that wrong. Another thing to keep in mind is we actually need 2 levels for this. One, it should be the always loaded big like intro area. This area, this room should always be loaded. So let's make a new empty level in here. Create new empty. This is under, just gonna put it under dungeons, I guess. Spider dungeon. Let's just call it spider entrance. Okay, and then that will be everything we put in this room essentially, because this will always be loaded. And then the rest of the spider dungeon will be turned off. So we can delete this. We don't need that at all. I'll get rid of these two. And then all of this stuff should put like a, should we put like a big door up here? Yeah, maybe like a boarded up door or something. Whoa. I don't know what just happened there. That's weird. You do this goblin door and then just... maybe do one of these doors. This one. The reason is because I just want to make sure the players can't see through this. So how we're handling dungeons now is instead of like opening a door so they can walk in, once the dungeon starts, everyone just gets teleported to the start of the dungeon inside of it. Mostly just for like ease of use. Like it'll just be simpler to handle that way. Even if that means you just literally teleport to the other side right here. But it also means that everything on the inside right here that you can't see through the door can just be turned off until you hit start dungeon, and it'll pop up and say like joining dungeon in X seconds, whatever. And then once that starts, and we'll probably do like 10 seconds, whatever, then we'll start loading the dungeon in the background. So it'll, I mean, within 10 seconds, whatever, it should 100% be loaded. And if not, it's probably fine. And we'll probably keep like the terrain or wherever you're going to load into loaded, and maybe walls around that loaded, like this tunnel or whatever, just so players don't end up teleporting into something that hadn't been loaded yet for some reason and falling through the ground. Layers of burnable webs. That would be cool. We talked about burnable webs a long time ago, and we ended up not doing it. And I don't remember why. The effect was kind of a pain to make, I think, for starters. I'm sure we could buy the effect on the marketplace somewhere. It's just a material. But yeah, having big layered webs in there that you like have sections you can go through would be great, because then you can only shoot once you get to that section. It also might hinder spiders from jumping at you though, so we'll have to look at that. I don't like this giant rock right here. Let's use, let's go find our cave walls and use this guy instead. That looks a lot more natural. Let's go to the other side too. Oh, this is attached to nothing now. Let's just get rid of this. All right, we're in the spider dungeon. We need to be in the, all this needs to be moved to the dungeon entrance, including the door. That's not part of the cave. I don't know what that is. Oh, yes it is part of the cave. I don't know how much of this to move. I guess we just need, actually, I guess like all of this would be. No, I think some of this is part of, yeah, some of this is part of farmlands. Okay, let's move all this for now, and then we'll just see what's left. Uh-oh, we have terrain selected. We don't want that moved over. Okay, all of this we want to move to the dungeon entrance. So move selected actors to level. Wait for a second. I think it's still working. Only slightly nervous that we crashed. I won't click anything. Damn it. Oh, God forbid we move like 15 objects at a time, huh? We didn't save any of that. Okay, note to self, we need to save things before we move stuff now. I haven't done level design of really any caliber in this project in probably a year. Well, yeah, since Delver's Pass was pretty much the first Delver's Pass release, so probably a year, maybe longer. And I forgot how finicky it can get sometimes in UE4 and also in this huge project. One more reason I'm just really ready to get out from under this and like move on to something new. Speaking of something new, I was thinking about the MMO idea, and I kind of think we could do a, like, I was just like I'm kind of racking my brain about how you like monetize an MMO in like a healthy way that doesn't kill, like, I don't know, like I think it needs to be like free to play, right? But I was kind of thinking that during development, maybe we don't make it free to play. Sorry. We make it like, we make it almost like a premium, like access kind of deal, where we just give access to like Patreon members or something, like $5 or up or whatever, something like that. So you kind of essentially pay $5 a month to play the MMO during development, which I know sounds pricey for like an for a MMO that's not even like probably functioning. But I think that's fine because during development we're not expecting to make money at all. And then I wonder if like eventually we'll have to like switch from that model, but I do think we could do like a subscription thing. I just don't know what the subscription would give you that wouldn't be pay to win. So you gotta keep thinking about that. That is like definitely one of the trickiest parts about MMO production, I think. Not necessarily development, but like the production part of it is just that you have to figure out how you monetize without being predatory, and how you monetize well enough to make sure you can actually pay for your servers and keep the game afloat and hopefully make money at the end of the day. Kindra K, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Our names are very similar. Is this reopening? Is it, are we launching, or we just did it decide not to launch? Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I tell it to like restart and Unreal's like, I'm just gonna take a nap instead. But then I like, sometimes I'll launch it manually again and then I'll have two copies open. It takes twice as long to open, so we'll see in a minute. I was looking at Redwood a bit. It seems like a pretty good starting point for an MMO backend. The containerization is ideal for sure. Yeah, Drekinen. It's honestly, I haven't like played with it too much, but I know the guy who made it, and I've worked with him for a long time, and I have a lot of faith in his abilities. And I think that even if it's not perfect, and also the monetization for it is insanely like good. Like it's it's you don't pay him anything until you make $100,000, and even then, it's like it's very reasonable, I think, personally. Uh, and also, I think you can just pay like a good chunk up front, and then you don't have to pay anything off of like you don't have to pay any rev share. Um, but there is monetization, so it's not free to use, but it is like it's super fair, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, and because I know him, his name's Mike. Personally, I'm pretty sure if I have any issues, he'll help me with them immediately. And I feel like I can help him too if I start working on MMO and on a game with it, because then I can start promoting it for him, you know. And when people come in and they're like, "Oh my God, you're making an indie MMO? Like, how are you doing that?" And then I can help promote Redwood, you know, especially if it's easy to use. So I think it'd be nice. Oh, ad break. Oh, I guess you can still hear me. Cool. I've been paying for YouTube Premium for a while because I was just over ads for a little bit. And recently I've been watching a lot of Twitch because I've been playing WoW a lot. So I've been watching streamers like Zaryu and Pops and a couple other people. And really enjoying it. But I'm so sick of it getting the content interrupted with ads. I'm just so over Twitch's like aggressive ad policies now. So I decided to try the turbo. So I did the 7-day trial, and I canceled my YouTube Premium to not only just like switch services, because I would rather have ads on content I can pause and rewind than content I can't pause and rewind without a lot of effort and then missing the new content. So yeah, and also I think it ends up saving like $5 a month. Something like that, maybe $6 a month. So I think it's only $12 for turbo. So yeah, I'm trying it. I have no idea how like streamers get paid for turbo users. I'm assuming that as like the more you watch, the more they just get paid, or maybe they like whenever an ad is happening, turbo users just count toward that ad even though they're not watching it. I'm hoping that's what's happening. Seems like it's got support for a lot out of the box. Yeah, it's from when I was talking to him about, he said there's like a party system, guild system, trading. I think he's got auction house support or something like that coming soon, or he's working on it, or maybe he already has that one. There's a handful of features that he's already got like built in, and then there's a handful of features that are coming soon. And I know right now he's been kind of, I don't know if burnt out is the word, but I know there's been like some, like he wants to like work on other things lately. So I think if like a big, like not a big dev team, but like a dev team started working on a bigger game and he could like be actually like watching it be developed, I think he'd be really inspired to work on new things for the project. So especially since I think that I'm like the only person that's been like promoting Redwood other than himself at all. So I'm actually really hyped to like start helping him promote it and like start using it. I believe turbo users count towards the ads. Yeah, I think you're right. Just the built-in database support is already great, plus seamless travel and shard support is huge. Yeah. Yes, the shard support is going to be a really big one, and the built-in database support. Yeah, what I'm struggling with is I don't know how to handle. I don't think Unreal's opening. I give up. We're just gonna open it ourselves. I know I hit restart, but I think Unreal gave up. But yeah, I don't know how to handle like an item database with like an MMO, because obviously it needs to be in a database, like on like a server, right? It can't be local, right? Because then people could just change it. So I wonder, like, I don't know how to handle that, because I know like you need to build it, and I assume you'd build it through Unreal Engine and not like SQL or something, or SQL, however you pronounce it. Maybe you do though, I don't know. Maybe you structure it in a way like locally, and then you pull that data from an SQL database. I don't know. I'll have to look into that more. That's something I don't really know anything about. I've never tried to build anything like that is server authoritative before. All the multiplayer stuff I've messed with has mostly been Swords and Magic and like more casual, like local multiplayer stuff. Or not local multiplayer, but casual, local authority stuff that doesn't like, because I really don't care if people cheat in Swords and Magic. If you want to spawn all the mounts in, who cares? Go ahead. It doesn't really bother me. And look, see what happens? I freaking go to open it, and then a second one opens. Sometimes I think like it doesn't open until I start opening the second one. I don't need any of those open. We have Farland Spider Cave. Yeah, I think both those levels got deleted. Lame. Classic. I think you'd want to make your own item data relational and store it in the database. If you haven't, I'd recommend looking at CMango's source for how they set up the database for WoW private servers. Oh, that's an excellent resource. Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, yeah, I don't know. I've considered like, because what I want to make is essentially a World of Warcraft like classic clone, right? Like I want to make something that's very, very similar in like feeling and vibe, like in progression and everything, but just with like more horizontal progression and less vertical progression. Maybe not less vertical, but like the same vertical progression. What I don't want to get caught up in is like, let's release a new zone and then raise the level cap, right? I don't want to keep doing that. I feel like that's what killed WoW, and there's better ways to design, I think, than just vertical. In my opinion, CMangos did a really good job with the database redesign. No idea how closely it mirrors Blizzard's old code, but works really well. Yeah, so I have read that you could, because I even asked GPT, I was like, what if you just like made a WoW private server and then you like imported your own like environment and just rebuilt a whole new world on top of that back end. And I was like, just wondered how like closely you'd be like skirting the line to like breaking the law, and very much so because you'd be using their code, which makes sense. Obviously, I don't know why I didn't think about that. I just wondered. I also wonder like, would Blizzard like shut you down if you like built a game like a private server, like a free to play private server, or whatever, and just asked for donations, just like private servers do, but then built your own game on top of their like foundation, like gutted all their art, gutted all of their like whatever, and then just build your own game? Because I wondered like how closely or how much more work would that be than to build something from scratch in Unreal. And I actually think it'd be more work probably, because you'd be building onto their system and you'd have to like work through their framework, and like everything would have to just go through their stuff, which would be probably a lot more work. Probably not worth it. But yeah, I was looking at that, and then it made me realize like I could probably learn a lot from these things. So then I was thinking like, I wonder if there's like private servers like Turtle Wow or something, if they get shut down, I wonder if it'd be worth it to like reach out to some of them and be like, want to just start a fresh MMO? Like, want to just work with me and my small team and just make an MMO from scratch instead, and just like do this? But I actually started thinking like that's probably not a good idea. I think the reason people like to run private servers is because, one, they just want the nostalgia from WoW, which I would like to capture nostalgia from WoW Classic, but also in a fresh world and like new things to do, you know? But most importantly, I think they probably wouldn't know how to like design a game from the ground up, because a lot of those private servers, even the ones like Turtle Wow and like Ascension that are like doing like the WoW, like the Classic Plus kind of thing, I feel like, I don't know, like I didn't try the Ascension one, but I looked into it and it looks really janky. I think it looks like the design was like, the idea was there, but it was like not tested. Sorry about that. And like, I think in practice, it just didn't turn out very well. It looks like you just get a whole bunch of junk like right off the bat. I don't know. I watched some playthrough of it, and it's just, I don't know, looks like a lot. My opinion, CMangos did a really good job. We heard that one. Yeah. What's up, Myro? Came in at an interesting time. What? Why? What's so interesting? Wait, what? Did this open anyway? Sure did. That was weird. I played around with some with Sea Mangoes just for fun, but I did work on a Star Wars Galaxy MU server for a couple years. That's awesome. My experience is that most people working on those MU servers don't have a good handle on general game design. You're right. Right. That's kind of my opinion as well. And not that I think that I am good at game design. Like, I think everybody knows, like, Swords and Magic has a lot of, like, design flaws. And it's very much like the reason we went so casual with it is because I didn't want to have to be tweaking numbers and values and, like, making sure all those, like, issues are fixed. I just thought if everything's broken, then everything's fun. You know what I mean? Like, or if everything's overpowered, then nothing's overpowered. I guess that sort of thing. Which is why, like, even the skill trees, like, they're relatively balanced, but there's definitely some, like, issues with them. And I'm like, do we care? Does it matter? Probably not. We're talking about private servers. I've been looking into it as well and decided fun to study, not to run publicly. Yeah, so I don't want to run a public server. So you're probably not caught up with what I've been talking about recently, but I've been playing a lot of WoW for the last, like, 3 months now, I think, or 2 months now. I think I just resubbed again for the 3rd month, which is the most consistent I played since I was, like, 17, probably, in, like, 2005. But I played a lot when I was a kid. I never really got very far. I played a lot casually. I ran guilds and, like, participated in guilds and did a lot of, like, roleplay stuff. I just loved, like, the vibe of the game. But it's, like, very much like a childhood like nostalgia thing for me, I guess. But I really love WoW, and so lately I've been thinking, like, what is my next big project going to be? And I had a plan for, like, a survival crafting game, like, where you play, like, woodland creatures, whatever. And I still love the idea of that, but I don't know. Like, I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, should I just try to make an MMO and just see what happens? Like, just something small and, like, fun and easy. And I'm kind of leaning toward it. So I've been talking to people about it, and we've been looking into it, and we have, like, a framework planned out, and, like, are really considering it. So that's what we're talking about. But private for, like, because I want to, like, stick so closely to, like, how World of Warcraft works. Like, I don't want to make a WoW killer. I barely want to make a WoW clone, but it is going to feel a lot more like WoW than any other MMO, I think. Which is kind of the design. That's kind of the goal, right? There's a lot of talk about, like, Classic Plus right now. And so I think that even though the goal for this wouldn't be money, because I don't think there's money for indie devs in an MMO. I actually think that, like, if that's your goal, you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot. And it's like, that's not a good, like, I think that the golden age of, like, dropping an MMO and making millions is, like, definitely gone. And a lot of people tried and failed. And so I think if you have a giant, like, $1 million budget or whatever for an MMO, like, that's a terrible, scary thing, and you probably shouldn't be doing that because you won't make your money back, or probably won't. But I do think there's a lot of space for classic feeling, like, retro MMOs, like old school RuneScape and WoW Classic. Even, like, Lord of the Rings Online has a pretty decent player base that's, like, they're hardcore fans. So I just think there's space for, like, more slower paced, leveling focused, casual, maybe not casual, but, like, even, like, more challenging. Like, I've been playing hardcore classic lately, and I love it. Like, there's something about, like, being extremely careful and prepping and planning for everything you do before you do it is, like, really nice. I just think there's a space for that, and I don't know if it'll make money, but I just think there's, like, enough players out there that you actually would have a decent player base for a smaller scale MMO. So that's kind of the goal. I just want to make something that feels like Elwyn Forest, I guess, you know, and then grow from there. So MMO sounds exciting. You need to design Giga ahead. Yes, that is the scary thing. Like, decide ahead to not have to backtrack and rebalance and remake stuff. Yes, yeah, that is the scariest thing about it for me, is, like, making sure everything is planned ahead. Like, your stats have to be planned, your combat has to be planned, your like, dungeons have to be planned. Like, you have to, like, have the whole thing. Like, my goal for this is, like, when I start, like, actually designing, because right now there's not really, like, any designs. It's more just, like, should we do this? Is this a good idea to, like, dive into this? or is this like, I know it's stupid. Like that's not even a question. Like I know this is a stupid idea. But the thing is, like, I'm at a point with my design career right now where, like, yes, I have Swords and Magic I need to finish. I have Seeking Adventure I need to finish. And I have lots of other games I want to make. But Swords and Magic is, like, getting to the point where we don't have a huge player base anymore. I feel like I'm not, like, super... Like, it's not, like, this huge weight on my shoulders anymore, and I can just work on it when I feel like it, and I'm having fun with it. And I'm actually about ready to take a break from it when skill trees come out, I think. Hopefully I'll get a dungeon done first. And I want to get back to Seeking Adventure and finish that up because I think I have like a month of work on that probably to get it knocked out. And I just want to get it out, even if it doesn't make any money. I just want to finish another game. But yeah, like so I'm at a point where I'm like, what do I want to work on? Jana's working for a company now that's making decent money, and she's making decent money. I mean, and she's enjoying it, and so like our bills are not fully covered, but mostly covered. By her, and then like Swords and Magic kind of finishes them up, which is nice. And if I stop working on Swords and Magic, that'll drop more again, like it already has been, which is fine. But I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I could start another big project if I wanted to, I guess, and it wouldn't be like this has to be a game we have to finish in 3 months, otherwise we're gonna go bankrupt. Which is kind of why I was thinking about the survival crafting one, because I was like, this would have to be Kickstarter. We have to do like a huge like push for this. We have to like work fast and hard to get it done, and then it had to like make money within like 6 to 9 months, and it had to be like a full release, not early access, right? I had like a bunch of like reasons. That's why Seeking Adventure has been like such a small thing and was supposed to be done so fast because we needed money, and then we didn't quite need the money that as fast as we thought we did. Anyway, so yeah, an MMO is not like the craziest idea, and it could easily be something I just kind of tinker with, or even just work on full time and stream, and hopefully have like a bit of a Patreon support following there just to keep like servers up and running and just kind of like hopefully feed me and the family if like ideally, and hopefully everyone else working on it too. But anyway, but yeah, we were talking about private servers because I was just comparing like private servers to like making a new MMO, and yeah, I don't want to run a private server. I want to build my own game. Just as a reference for learning though. Yeah, of course. MMO sounds exciting. Man, I so feel like there is plenty of room for smaller scale MMOs. I played on MU private servers that were less than 500 people and still really enjoyed the experience. Yeah. What I'm noticing, so I'm craving something new in WoW, right? Like, and everyone is like dying for WoW, for Classic Plus. Like, everywhere I look is like another Classic Plus video, and I'm sure this is my algorithm feeding to me, and it's not as popular as I think it is. But I know there's a ton of people playing hardcore right now because of the ultra hardcore add-on that's pretty recent, for World of Warcraft, which hides your health bar, enemy health bars, their level, enemy level, things like that, which is really cool. Not for me, right? But it's like refreshing the game for people, and they're excited to come back and try it again because of that. And then I was like, well, I wonder what other like MMOs are out there that feel like WoW, they're as polished as WoW, but offer a new experience, you know, while I wait for this Classic Plus that you know may never come. It's not even like verified by Blizzard that they're even working on it. And it seems like they're just going to keep re-releasing their expansions over and over again in like these dumb waves until, you know, people stop paying for subs because they're sick of it, you know. And I don't really want to do that. Like Burning Crusade is coming out soon, and I'm like, do I really care to like keep playing classic WoW when Burning Crusade comes out, or am I just like, I don't know what I want to do, you know? So yeah, I was just like looking around at other MMOs, and I was like, yeah, there's like nothing, you know, there's like no other like small scale classic feeling like MMOs like that. I'd have to go to RuneScape, Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online maybe, or like, that's really it, right? And then there's like Guild Wars and like ESO and stuff like that, obviously, but it's just, there's not really like any like experiences similar to WoW. I guess maybe like Warhammer Online's kind of similar, but I don't think that's even running anymore. I think you can only play on a private server. So I just feel like I don't really want to play on a private server because like you never know when they're going to be shut down by the company, you know, or whatever. Now EVE Online is way too. I've played EVE Online. It's definitely not like WoW at all, right? One, I want fantasy. I want fantasy vibes. I want to hold a big great sword, you know, or a sword and shield or whatever. I want to cast spells. Like, that's totally not my vibe. But yeah, but I just can't find anything that feels like WoW, but like has a different world. to explore and different items to collect and different bosses to defeat and like, you know, like different quests to do. And I just feel like every time I play WoW Classic, like all the vibes come back and I'm like, oh, I love this game so much. But you can only do all those starter zones so many times, you know, like there's only so many different like, and once you get out of the starter zone, you're kind of back on the same track as you are no matter which race you start as. And I feel like I've just done it so many times that I'm like, I want something new. And so I kind of just want to build that, right? That's exactly what I did with Swords and Magic, is we were trying to find a game like this that it just didn't exist. And so that's kind of where I'm at with like WoW right now, is like I just kind of want to just build something that's like that. Even if it's small, even if it's just like a zone to start, you know, just like one zone that just has the same feel as like playing WoW, but is like a different location with different quests and different stuff to do. But yeah, and that's why like the private servers are cool, and they kind of like, they sort of like feed that desire for me a little bit. I haven't played on any of them. I don't want to. I'm not about to get banned or anything like that from Twitch or Blizzard by confessing to playing on a private server. But yeah, and I just don't. I don't really like the idea of them in the first place either. But yeah, and I also think that their design philosophies are just like weird. Like, I don't know. And I'm not even that interested in like switching up the mechanics. Like the Ascension private server had a cool idea where you could like build your own class with all the abilities you wanted, and I was like, yeah, I guess that's cool, but like also like too much, you know? Like I don't want to like be a jack of all trades. I just want to play like classic WoW, but in like a new world with new quests, I guess, and like new features and stuff. Have you looked at Korean MMOs? So I have a little bit, yeah. My problem with Korean MMOs is like, it always feels like, one, it's very like cash shop oriented, right? Like lots of cash shop, like stuff like that. Two, it always feels like numbers are huge, right? Like, like I just saw Blue Protocol played by Zaryu on Twitch, and he's like, I don't know, you're doing like millions of damage right off the bat, right out of the gate, and also like you like unlock gear, but you like unlock, here's level 10 gear, here's level 20 gear, here's level 30 gear, and I'm just like, that's not what I want to play. Like I want to play a game where you like kill a goblin and he drops like a new like pair of gloves, and you're like, yes, upgrade, you know, like little tiny incremental upgrades. I don't want to play a game where you play for an hour or two and then all of your gear gets upgraded instantly, and then you play for an hour. I don't know. It just feels very like, I don't know. I don't know. It's not my vibe, I guess. And a lot of them feel like that, I think. But I've not looked at like Blade and Soul. I've heard of Ragnarok Online, but I've never played it. So maybe those are more up my alley. Maybe that's what I should be looking at. But from what I've heard, making MMO nowadays is actually harder than 20 years ago. Yes, we got Giga tools and engines, but people, everyone thinks they're a good developer, and for MMO you need a team, and getting a good team is literally impossible. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I definitely don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think I can just be like, cool, I'm making a WoW clone, everyone can play it, and we're going to get 1 million players. But that's also not the plan, right? That's not what I'm trying to do. My goal is really like, I would like to make a smaller scale, like World of Warcraft-esque experience that feels a little bit like what everyone is after for WoW, or for Classic Plus, right? Like I want to make something that feels like World of Warcraft but different, right? Which I think there were a couple of games that came out that were like sort of similar to that back in the day. I can't think what they're called now. Or there was one especially. Rune something. Runes of Magic or something? Runes of Magic? Yeah, I think Runes of Magic is one of like the closest like games to like WoW. It has 6 out of 10 on Steam. I wonder if this is still going. It looks like it is. 1 year ago, State of Runes of Magic. Fairly quiet on the NA server, much more active on EU servers. Feels like the pop is around 100 to 200 players. Interesting. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of, I want to like it also just sounds like fun to build, you know. Like I love like building worlds and crafting lore and stuff like that. So I just think that that would be fun to do. And honestly, if it launches and there's like 20 players, I'm thrilled, right? Like that's great. You talked about horizontal progression. Do you have any ideas what content mechanics would fit that? You just talked dropping gloves and being happy to upgrade, but that's yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. And I will 100% admit that I don't have the answers, right? I don't even know. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things in like retail WoW that you could add to classic WoW and it would be really, it would feel good, right? If it was done the right way. The only thing like the first thing I think is when I think like horizontal progression is like cosmetic things or like gameplay changing things like what, I don't know. Because you're right, like I think vertical progression is huge. For me, I think the reason I love WoW is I really do like making new characters. But the problem is that I'm so sick of making another human or another night elf, right? Or another whatever, and I'm sick of playing the same classes. So personally, I think even if it is like prolonged or like maybe looping vertical progression, I think doing something almost like you know how like roguelites happen where like you play through a game but like and then you die obviously, but you unlock something for the next playthrough, you find new stuff. I almost feel like something in that realm would work really well in an MMO. Maybe not like exactly like a roguelite, but like allied races in retail WoW, right? That's like one of my favorite things retail WoW has done or Blizzard has done in WoW. Like I love the idea of playing through, doing hard content and unlocking something that makes you stand out against other players. And I think that's very horizontal progression-y, maybe not super horizontal progression, but like definitely in the same vein. Like, because now you can start a new character with a new race, right? And you have maybe a couple new like minor abilities, like racial abilities, whatever. But most importantly, you just look different than other players, and then other players look at you and go, "Oh man, I want that race. I want to unlock that race so I can make a, you know, I don't know, void elf, you know, warlock or whatever for my next run or something," right? It just gives you something to work toward that then you get to experience the game again with that race. And I think if you do the same thing with like classes, or you do the same thing with maybe not zones, I think adding more like zones to level like experience like level in is good, but it also splits your player base a lot, like spreads them really thin, and so that's kind of a scary situation. But I think you could also do like layering it within zones, right? So like maybe like to keep players in the same zone longer or like make those zones feel more fresh or whatever, is you kind of put like layered content within them. So maybe there's like higher level crafting nodes or whatever, or resource nodes in each zone. So like you like gather your level like, you know, 5 to 10 or whatever crafting stuff there, but also you come back at like 20 to 30 to get that stuff or whatever. Stuff like that would help too, because then you're like bringing players back into existing like zones and like going through them again. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I've kind of tried to keep the brainstorming to a minimum, so I don't get super overhyped about designing a new game right now while I'm still working Swords of Magic and Seeking Adventure. And 2, because I don't want to design this kind of stuff without a team with me, right? Moz played a lot of WoW back in the day. Him and I are really big fans of WoW. I don't know if he's played recently, but I kind of want to like play with him to like get us kind of brainstorming together. I think he just had family in town, so maybe I'll try to hook up with him soon and get him to play with me. We'll see. But yeah, I kind of want to just like brainstorm with people who want to help do this, so it's not just me coming up with a bunch of ideas and then getting like sold like locked into them, you know. So I don't want to like do too much design here. One horizontal progression thing I really would like to implement that I've kind of been mulling over for several years now, when I was thinking about making an MMO like, I don't know, like 10 years ago probably, I think is having more player interaction sort of things, right? And one of those, I really like the idea that like there's certain spells or abilities, I guess just abilities in the game that are like trainable or teachable. And so once you've like mastered that ability, like maybe you've ranked it up all the way to the top or whatever, rank 10 or whatever it's going to be, then you can then mentor other players to teach that to them outside of your class, right? So maybe a warrior wants to learn, I don't know, frost shield or something, I don't know, whatever. That could be like a trainable ability maybe, or certain ones, whatever. You'd have to mark certain ones and make sure that's like you'd only be able to like learn so many, maybe like 2 or 3 or something in your ever. So you can like kind of like dip into other classes a little bit here and there, and I think that would kind of be interesting to like let players economize that, right? Is that a word? So you can like sell your training to other players, and then they would like group up with you and you would teach it to them in some mechanical way, right? Maybe there's like maybe you have to do a quest or something, I don't know, something like that, but you have to go together on the quest to do that thing. Maybe you have to be within a certain range of like the same level or something, I don't know, whatever. Maybe we scale, who knows. But yeah, I think that'd be kind of interesting to have like stuff like that happen, so there's like players can like work together to do things. I also think like focus on more of like player economy kind of stuff, not necessarily not as far as like Albion Online goes, which is a good example of like player run economy, but something similar, or like something that kind of leans in that direction a little bit, so there's more reason to like interact with other players would be cool. I think more interaction is really a good way to do horizontal progression too, because then you have players playing together and building experiences together, which means that if you have interesting experiences with players together, you're going to want to play the game again, go play through the game again when you get to end game, because like you're going to want more of those interesting experiences. And sometimes just the social experience is the experience itself, right? To fight current MMOs, you would need to figure out how to reuse your content, because of all current MMOs like WoW, New World, you get to area, out level it, and never revisit it. Thus, devs can't put a lot of work into areas if you figure out how to reuse areas for high-low levels. So it's visited / grinded, you got a chance. Yeah, I totally agree. We're starting an ad break. Let me know, Bane Trapper, if you get hit with this ad. If you don't, then I'll keep talking to you. I have other ideas too. I'm just trying to keep these. I'm trying really hard not to like go too hard on these ideas, because again, I don't want to like dive too deep into them and then throw them away, I guess, right? Ad break's finishing. Okay, never mind. Dodge the ad. Cool. Another idea I had was, obviously, I think that like another huge thing in like retail WoW is like the world quests. And I love the idea of just showing up to a location, they're just like a world quest going on, especially like world bosses and things like that. I think that's really cool. I think we could do things like that. Of course, it has to be scaled or something, I guess, which I think does kind of defeat the purpose of like bosses in games, in MMOs especially. I really don't like scaled content. I think that when you like level scale players, you like are totally like hamstringing them. Like you're killing the whole point of like vertical progression at all if you're just gonna like level scale everything. But I do think if you had like, for example, let's say you're in the level like the start, like your Elwyn Forest zone, right, or whatever, and then you have like a farm that's under attack by some big monster or something, and you can show up to help it, right? So if you don't help it, maybe the farm, they have like a couple of vendors or whatever. If you don't help, those vendors go away, right? Like maybe they're like cowering in fear or whatever, and you can't buy from them or whatever, and they can have rare items or something, I don't know, something like that. Maybe like resources or something, who knows. Maybe there's even like resource nodes in the farm, like whatever, and you can't get to those now because you didn't help them. But if you do help and you do defeat that monster, and like hopefully there's reasons for end game or like higher level characters to help as well, then you would like those vendors would be there, or maybe new vendors would be there, or something new would happen, right? You would essentially sort of like modify the world in some minor meaningful way, right? So you'd have like maybe there's like higher level vendors there or whatever, so higher level players have a reason to go back and help defend those farms. Or maybe it's entirely higher level content, period. So like you're low level, you're level 10, and there's a farm you need to do quests at or whatever, or buy things from or whatever, and now that farm is under attack by level 40 mobs, and you're like, well, I can't do anything here. So you have to then ask higher level players to come help or whatever, or higher level players have to come help to like help the lower level guys do their thing, but they also get perks too. Like maybe there's also like higher level vendors there, or higher level resource nodes or something in the area or whatever. that they also get access to. So like, I think things like that would be cool to like have higher level players come back to lower level zones to do certain things. Like maybe that's their like, maybe that's almost like your end game sort of stuff, right? Your end game is almost like helping lower level players now by like preventing like their level or their zones from being taken over, which kind of like is really difficult to design around, right? Because eventually at one point you're going to have only low level players in the game, and at one point you might not have any higher level players in the game depending on the amount of players, whatever it's called. So I don't know, there's definitely like weird design issues with that kind of stuff, but I do think there's something there, right? There's something around like the idea of having world events that like affect the world that can be handled by higher and lower level players, maybe in some way, in some capacity. But yeah, I think affecting the world and unlocking certain like vendors and stuff like that is a cool way to handle it and make those zones reusable for players of different levels. But yeah, I also think like having like I don't know, as a player, I really loved like back in like classic WoW days. I remember, or like Burning Crusade or whatever, I remember always trying to get to places I shouldn't be yet. You know, like I remember like, I wonder what's in this cave, and like there's like a elite there, or like seeing like the Loch Ness. What? Okay, I'll wrap up. Thanks. But like seeing like the elite monsters in like the lake and stuff like that, and being like, wonder where they drop, wonder that monster is, and like wanting to kill that thing but not being high enough level, but then trying and failing, and then going and leveling up a few times and coming back and trying again. I think there's definitely something there to like, if you see high level content in a low level zone that's dangerous and you have to avoid it, like Stitches walking through Duskwood, right? Like that's like scary, right? You know you can't kill that thing, you have to avoid it, but one day you're going to be strong enough to come back and kill it. I do think there's like something there. I think there's something that like pulls you to want to get stronger to do that content. And then once you're stronger, you'll come back to those zones and do that content because you can finally do that content. So I think even if it's like kind of dangerous to put that kind of dangerous content in those low level zones because your low levels are going to run into it and get killed, I still think there's something really exciting about that like aspect. So I don't know, I'm a fan of that. I think there's something there about that. And even like, honestly, I don't plan on solving the horizontal versus vertical progression thing either. That's not my goal. I just think having more horizontal elements to keep players engaged in the leveling process more so than just getting like rushing through it to get to end game is the goal, right? I think just making that more fun is my plan. So it definitely is powerful MMO moment, fighting a strong mob that you solo, drop it to half, so you need to call for someone to help someone to group and take it down. Yes, 100%. Yeah, I love that. Love that. Yeah, like, and like Elwyn Forest is honestly like, I think the reason people love Elwyn Forest so much is because there's so much of that, especially in classic. You have Princess, you have Hogger, right? Like you have all these like mobs that are like they're famous mobs because players remember getting just stomped by them, right? Like that's why they're famous, is because they remember going there and being like, cool, I got to kill this guy now, and then just going, okay, I'm dead, I need help, right? And then you go back to it again and you get a group together. Like that feels so good to like get that group together and then like take out that mob, and especially when it drops something good for you, you know, like there's definitely a lot of like dopamine there, right? Like defeating that thing that you've been wanting to. Hey Red, thanks so much for the resub, man. Appreciate that. Sorry I missed it. Thanks for lurking. Hogger, yeah. I don't know. I think there's just something there. I think if you can just capture that essence of like Elwyn Forest in like multiple zones in like throughout your whole game, I just think there's definitely a vibe there. And I think that's like Elwyn Forest, I think, is just like a masterclass in MMO design. And I just feel like Blizzard was like, cool, we did really good in Elwyn, let's totally not do that again and try other things. And I think that's like my goal, is like, let's make a game that like feels like Elwyn Forest in every zone, right? Like that has that same vibe of like this like I don't know. I just think there's something there. I think we can do it. I think it'd take a long time. I think it's not going to be easy to do. I think I'm very much biting off more than I can chew, and I understand that. But yeah, like I feel like I did it with Swords of Magic. You know, I bit off way more than I could chew, and we're finally almost finishing at this stupid game after all these years. And I've learned a lot of lessons from this, and Maz helped me with the beginning of it and helped like set up multiplayer and stuff. And I think he learned a lot of lessons from Swords of Magic too. And I just think like we're kind of at a point where it's like, sure, let's try something harder. Let's tackle it. It'll be fun. Lalalulu flip flip Rabubu. Okay. Anyway, guys, it is 1:15. Jana unfortunately has a meeting in 15 minutes in this very room, so I cannot be in here. So I have to wrap up stream. So we have 28 viewers. What's going on? We talk about MMO stuff and people just come in. That's another thing, is I also think that if we can like confidently build a nice vertical like slice of this game, I really do think people would be like, this is cool. Like I want to play this. Like, cause I just think people are just like, they don't trust MMOs anymore. I just think they're just, people are blow up MMOs. And I feel like there's either like 2D indie MMOs or just like these little teeny tiny things, right? That are like, not really what we're looking for. And then there's like Korean MMOs that are just like, I don't know, too kind of like crazy, you know, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of them for some reason. I don't know what it is. Huge numbers, like gotcha mechanics, stuff like that. I'm just like, no, thank you. And then there's like the big dogs, like there's WoW, there's New World. And I feel like most people are like, we're going to make the next WoW killer. Let's make New World. Let's make this huge giant MMO where you can become a king and you can, you know, set up settlements and all this stuff. And it's like, nah, I don't want that. You know, like I want to build something like 20% of the way there, you know, like I want to just build something small that feels good. That's all I care about. Good rant for MMO. Start putting stuff on paper. Yeah. got to get 1,000 pages of ideas so you can choose only the good 10 ones to fit. Yes. Yep, agreed. Yeah, and I'm hoping that's kind of what we come down to. I'm hoping we don't just like throw a million things at the wall with this game like we did with Swords of Magic. Swords of Magic was very much like, what else can we add to this cool game? Like I want to add a new cool feature. And I'm hoping with the MMO, it's very much like distilled down to like, what are the best things we can put in here to make this feel better without bloating it. Because that's another thing, is I think MMOs have so much bloat these days. Like there's just a billion things going on and people are so overwhelmed by it. And I think even WoW Classic has a lot of crazy hidden mechanics, like the fact that like there's no tutorial, you just like dive in, and then like 50 hours in, you're like, oh, if I want to learn swords, I can do that. I can go train swords at this place for like 10 silver. That's so cool. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something there about like discoverability and like just like casual like leveling. There's something there. But anyway, try not to bloat it is definitely going to be tricky. Yeah, I'll be writing stuff down, and we're gonna have like a team meeting eventually and see if everyone's on the same page and make sure that whatever. I would like to bring on either a level designer or like an artist or an animator or something. And I think I just want to keep it to like 4 people max, and probably do like a revenue split or something and go from there. But anyway, all right, I gotta get out of here. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out today. I appreciate it. Let's go see if you guys want to raid someone. Let's see who's live. We do have like 30 something people watching. Let's go raid who? I don't really see anyone. Should we go raid a WoW streamer? That'd be fun. Not ideal, but we could do it. Will you do coding with strangers, maybe? Sure. Let's go raid this guy. We'll raid. We have enough people to raid. Anyway. All right. Raid started. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. If you are not following, you should do that. If you want to join our Discord, you should do that. If you want to support me on Patreon, you should do that. I don't normally promote this kind of stuff. If you want to buy my game, you should do that. That's a great idea. It will probably be on sale for Christmas. I don't know. I think we're doing the winter sale. But I can't make any promises. I don't know. I also don't know how much it'll be on sale for yet. But yeah, we will be having our Witches Eve event coming soon in October, later this month. Actually, it's the 20th. Sorry, it's in 6 days. We have Witches Eve, which I need to get working on also. And then we have Frostfall coming in December. So come hang out, get the games so you can play with everyone. This is the last time we're doing the annual events, and then we're doing the calendar system, so they just happen in game on your own time. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for the subs, and I'll catch you on Thursday. I think. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I'll be here Thursday. Bye, guys. See ya.